What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel for Webflow Pros. In today's tutorial, we're going to build a CMS-driven quiz that tells you if you got an answer right or wrong, it tracks your progress throughout, and reveals a success message at the end. Today's video is brought to you by WeBlocks. WeBlocks is a JavaScript builder for Webflow. To follow along with this project, clone my clonable in the description below and sign up for a free WeBlocks account. If you'd like to purchase a paid plan, use my code TRICKS10 for 10% off. Let's get started. Inside our Webflow clonable, we have a collection for all our questions. To create a new question, all we have to do is put the question itself, then all of our answers. Maybe this first answer is clowns. We need to select each answer if it's correct or incorrect. So this one might be correct, and then if I add another one, heights, I would have to say that one's incorrect, and do that for all of our options. Each question is its own collection item, and we have a link block for our options here. We can go ahead and pull the text, and we're going to get the text from option A, right there. Now inside of each link block, there's also an embed, and if we open up that embed, there's this hidden div with the class of status. What we're going to want to do is add on a combo class to this status. So we'll create a space, and right after the space, we add our option A value. So this is going to add a combo class to this div of correct or incorrect. So we'll be able to find the div with the class of status and figure out if it has the correct or incorrect combo class. Now that we have that, we can go ahead and duplicate the entire link block, and then we'll replace the text and make this one option B. And then we'll go ahead and open up the embed inside of this link block, and then we'll change its value to option B value, and we'll do the same for option C and option D. We can also pull this text right here from a field we have in the CMS called explanation. This explains what the correct answer is. Then we can set our explanation div to display none by default, and our way to go div to display none so we don't see them at first. So for the first part of our quiz, whenever a user clicks on one of our option links, we want to add a combo class onto it called selected that turns up the border opacity. In WeBlocks, let's go ahead and create a new project from our dashboard, and I'll call this one quiz tutorial and hit create. It comes with a standard set of blocks in here, but I don't need them for now, so I'll just click on the main block and hit the delete key. Whenever a user clicks on one of the links, we're adding the combo class of selected. So first I'm going to copy the class of the link itself and head over to WeBlocks. This first tab right here called basics has an on-click trigger, and we can say whenever we're clicking on the option link class, we want to do something. So I'm going to head over to the animations tab, and I'll drag in an add class action right here. We want to add the class of selected onto an element, but not onto every option link on the page. We only want to add it onto the option link that we clicked on. To do that, under the basics tab, we can drag in a this block, and I'll go ahead and delete this other block by dragging it to the trash can. So a this block basically only refers to the option link or the element that we clicked on. To test this out, I can hit the setting gear at the top and hit the copy code button right here. I can head over to my Webflow project, go to the page, and all the way in the closing body tag section, I'll add opening and closing script tags that look something like this. And between those script tags, I can paste all of the code that WeBlocks generated so far, hit save, and then publish. Now, anytime I click on a link, we're noticing it's getting that class of selected, so it's adding that onto the link that I clicked on in any of these questions. The only problem is I don't want to be able to click on more than one question. After we select a question, we shouldn't be able to click on any of its siblings again. So to fix that, I think I'm going to add a combo class onto the collection item itself called answered. Whenever this combo class is on, we want to set it to pointer events none. That just means we can't click on the item. So I'll type in the class name of answered, and I'll go ahead and set this to pointer events none and hit save. And now that that class is on my collection item, I can't click on any of these link blocks. I'm going to go ahead and remove that for now, and I'm going to head back over to WeBlocks. I'm going to go under the animations tab and drag in another add class, and this time I want to add the class of answered onto an element, not onto every collection item though. We need to give the browser directions on how to get from the link block that we clicked on to the collection item we want it to add the combo class to. To do this, we're going to use what's called an element tree. If you hit Command E, it pulls up a search box where we can search for blocks we want to use. I'll just type in tree for element tree and click this to add one onto the page. Here we're telling the code how to get from one element to the next element. The element we want to start with is actually the this block. So we're starting with the link block we clicked on. Then we want to go up to the parent of that link block. The only problem is parent can only go up by one div, and our collection item is actually 2 divs above our link block. To fix that, we can use closest instead, which works just like parent but allows us to go multiple divs up. And we'll be looking for the class of collection item, so we'll paste that class name here. Now we can delete this block and drag this one in. So now we're going to add a combo class of answered onto the collection item that's a parent of the link block we clicked on. Let's copy this code and test it. And on our live site, sure enough, after we click on an option, we can't click on anything else inside that parent anymore, but we can still click on other options on the page. Inside our link block, there's 2 icons, a check mark and an X icon. Whenever we add the combo class of selected onto one of our link blocks, we're going to show the X icon by default. So I'll go ahead and copy that class, head over to my embed. I'll target the option link class that has the combo class of selected, and then I'll look for an element inside of it with the class of X icon and just set that to display block. So now whenever we add the combo class of selected onto an element, we're going to see the X icon inside of it. We're also going to want to add the combo class of correct circle onto the option circle that's inside of whatever our correct answer is. I'll copy the class of correct circle, head over to WeBlocks, and I'll go ahead and duplicate the add class block and add it underneath. We're adding the class of correct circle. So far we got the link block we clicked on and then went grab the parent collection item of that link block. But now inside of that collection item, we need to search for the hidden div with the correct combo class. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up another element tree, and I'll drag it down here. Then I'll go ahead and delete this block, and I'll drag this entire thing into that first spot there. So basically we have the link block we clicked on, we got the collection item, and then inside that collection item, we're looking for a child. And the children can go multiple levels deep, and we're looking for the hidden div with the combo class of correct. Now we don't want to add on that combo class of correct circle to the hidden div itself. We're actually wanting to add that onto a parent of that hidden div, which is the option circle. So we'll need one more element tree, and I'll delete this first block. We'll go ahead and drag everything we've done so far into that first spot. And now from the hidden div, we're looking for a parent. So we'll go to the closest with the class of option circle. Now that we've written all those directions, we can add on the combo class of correct circle to the correct element. Let's copy our code and test it. And now if I click on the wrong answer, it's highlighting what the correct answer is. If I click on the right answer, it only highlights that right answer. You'll see we have the X icon that's showing up still inside of this, even if we clicked on the right answer. So to fix that, we're going to use a little custom CSS. We're going to look for the option circle that has the correct combo class on it. We'll head over to our embed on the page. Let's go ahead and target that option circle with the combo class of correct circle. And then let's look for the icon inside of it with the class of check icon. And we'll set that one to display block. But we also need to hide the X icon inside of the correct circle. So here, we'll target the X icon inside and set that one to display none. Now whenever we add the combo class of selected onto one of these elements, we see the X, but if we add the combo class of selected onto this element, all we see is the check. Now here's where the logic comes in. We need to find out if the link block we clicked on is correct or incorrect. And to do that, we're going to use the hidden div that's inside of the link block that has the class of status. In WeBlocks, we can basically go to the logic tab and drag in an if statement right here. So an if statement basically just checks for a condition. We want to check if our hidden div has a certain combo class. So if we hit Command E to search and type in has class, we can drag in this has class block here. We're checking to see if it has the class of correct. And we're checking the div with the class of status. But we don't want to check every status div on the page. We only want to check the one that's inside of the link block we clicked on. So we'll need an element tree. We'll delete this first block and drag in this block instead. And then we're looking for a child inside of the link block we clicked on. And the child needs to have the class of status. Then once we have that status div, we can check to see if it has the combo class of correct. We'll drag this into the first spot on our if statement. If it does have the combo class of correct, it's going to return true. So under our logic, we can basically check if everything we've added here equals true. If that's the case, that means the user clicked on the correct answer, and we're going to want to set the way to go div to display flex so we can see it. So I'll add on a combo class called show copy to this one, and it's basically just going to set it to display flex. I'll copy my way to go div, and I'm going to go under the animations tab, and I'll drag in an add class block. I want to add the class of show copy onto my way to go div, but not every way to go div on the page. So let's grab an element tree again. And if we look in our Webflow project, our way to go div is a direct sibling of all of our option links. So we can basically delete this first block, drag into this statement, and then we're going to target siblings this time. And I'll delete the second block, and we're looking for siblings with the way to go class. So it'll get the option link we clicked on, grab the sibling with the way to go class, and add a combo class of show copy onto it if the answer is correct. Then we can go ahead and duplicate this block, and we want a way to know if the answer is incorrect. So if we click on this setting gear here, we can take this else block and drag it underneath the if block, and now it adds an else statement part right here. I'll take this block here and drag it in the else. So this is if the user clicked on the incorrect answer. We're going to want to grab the sibling of the link we clicked on again, but this time the one with the class of explanation. So we'll paste that in, and we're still going to add a combo class of show copy onto it to reveal that explanation. Let's copy this code and test it. Now if I click on the wrong answer, it shows my explanation div and highlights what the correct answer is. But if I click on the correct answer, it shows my way to go div. Now we want to animate our progress bar based on how many questions we've answered so far. So we can set the width on this progress bar, and it has a nice smooth animation because of our CSS transition. We'll default it to 0% width so far. Now remember, we're adding a combo class onto our collection item called answered anytime we answer one of our questions. So all we need to do is count how many collection items on our page have that combo class of answered to see how many we've answered so far. To do that, I'll hit Command E and search for a count elements block. Once I have that, I'm going to search for the class of answered, so it should pull all of the collection items with that combo class of answered. Then I want to do a little bit of math. So I'll head over to the math tab, and I'll drag in this basic math here. And I'm going to drag in my count elements into my math here. So it's basically saying maybe there's 5, however many questions we have answered on the page. I want to divide that by the total number of questions we have. So to do that, I'll just pull up another count elements block. And then this time, I want to search for all of the collection items on the page. So I'll just search for every collection item. So I'm going to count my total number of collection items and divide that by the number of collection items that are answered. Say there's 8 questions answered out of 10, so that 8 divided by 10 would be 0.8. Now if I set my progress bar to 0.8%, it won't be very far. I actually want this to be 80%. So I'm going to drag in another math operator here, and then I basically want to set 100 in this first block, and then multiply that by whatever this math is here. So it'll be my number of questions answered divided by my total number of questions times 100. So that'll give me 50, 80, however many percent. Next, I just want to save this math in a variable. So I can head over to my variable tabs, and I'll call this variable progress and hit OK. And then I can use the set variable block right here inside here. And I'll just drag all my math in here. So anytime I click on one of the option links, it's going to count all of my collection items that have the combo class of answered, and it'll set this as a percentage and save this inside my progress variable. Then I just need to use that number to set the width on my progress bar. So I'll copy this progress bar here, head over to WeBlocks and head to my animations, and I'll do a set CSS block. So I'm able to affect the CSS of a class. In this case, it would be my progress bar class. I'm going to delete this middle part for now and head back over to my animations tab. And then what I'm going to pull is this third block right here. And this will allow me to set the CSS and also set a unit type. So for instance, I can set the width in this case is what I'm looking to set. And I want to pull the width from the variable I already created called progress. And I want to set it to a percentage unit. So if this spits out an 80, it'll add this percent sign onto it, making it 80%. And apply that as the width of my progress bar. Let's copy this code and test it. And now if I answer a question, it updates my progress bar based on the number of questions that are answered. And every time I click on one of these options, it keeps updating the progress bar and setting its width based on the number of my answered questions here. Lastly, whenever we answer all of our questions, we want to show the final success message. So we're going to add a combo class of completed onto this hero and use that to set its width to 100% so it has this nice animation. We're going to want this final score div to be hidden by default. So its font size will be 0.5 EM, so it's a bit smaller, and its opacity will be 0. Now, whenever it's inside of this isCompleted class on the hero, that's when we'll bring up its font size and its opacity. So I'm going to copy this class and head over to my embed. I'll target the hero with the combo class of completed. Then I'll look for the final score div that's inside. I'll set its font size to 1 EM so it scales up the element, and I'll set its opacity to a full 1.0. Now if I save this, we'll notice that this is visible, but when I take the completed class off the hero, it becomes invisible. We want to add that class onto the hero whenever we answer all of our questions, so let's go back into WeBlocks. We have 6 blocks left on our plan, so let's see if we can make this work. We don't want to reveal the hero every time we click on an option link. We only want to reveal it if all of our questions are answered. So we're going to drag in under logic another if statement at the very bottom inside of our option click. Here we're going to drag in a variable we already created called progress. This can be set to anything from 0 to 100. And we want to check to see if the progress is equal to 100. So we'll head over to our math tab and drag in a number element and type 100. If the progress is equal to 100, that means all our questions are answered. With 2 blocks left, we'll head over to our animations tab. We want to add a class, and the class we want to add is the class called completed to our hero element, and we are good to go. Let's copy this. And now let's answer all of our questions and see when we answer the last question, it should pull up the final completed state. So let's just check this out. Here we go. And yes, it does. So one thing we want to do is delay this from popping up for a couple seconds so we have time to read the last question. You noticed it popped up kind of quickly. So to do that, we can head over to our embed on the page. And then right here inside of we'll create a new block of code for our hero completed. We just want to add a transition delay. So we'll type transition-delay. I'll set this to 2,800 milliseconds, which is 2.8 seconds. So once this class completed is added onto the hero, it's going to wait a little while before playing that animation. We'll go ahead and do the same thing for our final score div. We'll set the final score to have a transition delay of 3,100 milliseconds. We can see that this is working because in Webflow, when we add the class of completed, it waits a little bit, and then eventually the animation happens. When we remove the class, it just slides right back. So let's publish and check it out. Sure enough, when we go to answer our last question, we have time to read it now, and then eventually it pops up our success message. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, please consider hitting that subscribe button below so you never miss out on another video, and I'll catch you in the next one.